Podcast, WATP.
Somebody brings up to Opie that Howard is retiring in December. This is Howard's last year on the radio. And trust me, guys, Opie doesn't get triggered by the name Howard. It doesn't faze him in any way.
Oh, good.
He can just normally respond to this with his take on it without totally freaking out.
I heard Howard is retiring December this year, Big Black says. Did you hear that? He's been saying that for 20 years because this is a guy that needs his ego stroked every single moment of every single day. So he starts this horse crap at the end of his contracts. I think it's time. And then, oh my God, Howard, no, it's not time. Well, no, I really think it's time. And the whole time in his stupid head, he knows he's not retiring, but he just wants everybody to talk about it and lap his ass and stroke his ego. No, you can't. Here, we bought you a new cowboy hat, Howie. And then December rolls around, and it's like, is he going to retire? He's going to make a decision in 2 days. Oh, my God, we're all going to have to listen to the radio. Is he going to retire?
How does he keep this energy up? He's just sitting there by himself. I've done like solo shows before. I can't imagine having that kind of manic energy while I'm doing the show. I'd be embarrassed. I'd come upstairs and be like, John, did you watch that? Ugh, sorry. Well, it's out of my mind. Sorry about that.
The delivery is awful, but what he's saying is spot
true.
on.
Yes, no, he is correct about what he's talking about.
And then he's like, all right, now I'm not going to retire, but I'm only going to do 10 shows this coming year. 10 shows. I'm going to do one show almost every month.
Again, he's right. It's a good take if you just talk normally like an adult to us about it. I'd be like, yeah, all right, it's making some sense.
Just make it a season
So
on
guess what,
Netflix or
Richie
something.
Rich? Howard Stern is the man today as we play Who the Man, 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 Who the Man.
He's turned into Scorch.
I mean, that's a Wheeze thing, isn't it?
Well, but it's also so much of a Scorch thing where you have to go back to like your old radio bits. Oh, we're playing Who the Man today. Okay. You say so. It's weird that Howard turned into Imus and Opie turned into Scorch.
Yeah.
It's weird that happened that way.
That's like turning into your mom if you're a woman, I guess.
Howard Stern and his narcissism and his ego and his cowboy hat is the man this morning. There you go. All right, Ryan.
All right, good stuff. Opie, hot take right there. He had to bring up cowboy hat twice. That was the big joke because he saw a photo of Howard in Italy wearing what wasn't a cowboy hat, but Cardiff thought it was. So,
Who is the show for? Who thinks he's funny?
It's for him.
Is it?
I think that's the only person that enjoys it is him.
well, yeah, I would agree with that.
Tyler Cooley is impressed by this.
Okay. All right.
Well, he gets into the fact that Anthony wrote about him in his book that just came out, which is called Spare Me. Go order it online with Johnny Russo. And so somebody goes, hey, Ant, or hey, Ope, did you know that Ant wrote about you in his book? And this is his response to that.
All right.
That's another trait of someone who just has nothing to say. When you're just scrambling to look at comments,
I was going to guess he would say, of course he did.
When I
What
catch
else would-
myself doing that, I get the douche chills.
Yeah.
I'm just like, it's just, it'd rather be better for dead air. Don't
made
sing
me-
songy. Don't be all. It's not
nothing
funny.
has made me a better broadcaster than watching horrible broadcasters. It's the best thing you can do. I recommend it.
So he wrote a nasty chapter about. Why would he? Look, whatever. I literally am trying to turn the page and literally talk way less about Anthony and the.
I swear I played that same clip 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm literally not even talking about Anthony anymore.
Yeah.
And then every fucking
Until my
video.
views go like this,
Yeah.
and then
Every
suddenly
video
it's the
comes
title
out.
of every fucking
He's been saying this
clip
for
he puts out.
years.
I can't believe his producer put that comment on the chat or on the screen if he didn't want to talk about it.
That's the craziest part, Andy. There is no producer.
Wait,
he
what?
brings that up.
Oh, no way.
He's the one who pulls up these comments and then goes, guys. And Anthony addresses that in his book. I'm going to read it for you in a minute.
I will leave you with this. I find it incredibly strange. So when he had that major surgery, I was like, I wished him the best. Obviously, none of this to me means crap. If you want to know the truth, and
None of this means crap. If you want to know the truth, he starts fidgeting with his hair. His body language tells me that it means something to him, probably.
And then he was nice back to me and stuff, but he knew that he had a shitty chapter about me in his new book. I find that weird.
Usually you stress
find that weird.
your hair whenever you're...
Oh, yeah. I mean, his body language is saying it all. He can't stop messing with his hair. He's putting it that way and then back again and then back again.
I think he looks great.
He's rubbing it like Boss Man Jack does to
Yes,
his head.
yes.
At that point, you don't write me if you know you're going to trash me in another book.
Is that the rule?
So stupid. Whatever.
You can tell he doesn't care.
Whatevs. What are you going to do, right?
Says the guy who doesn't worry about it all. Whatevs. What are you going to do? Who cares? Not me, that's for sure. So I wanted to read a little excerpt.
Yeah,
from,
now I need to know what
Anthony's
hasn't
book.
been said. That
Yeah,
still needs
Everyone
to be
scooch
said.
closer.
Yeah, there's some fun stuff in here. So this is from the Opie chapter of Anthony's new book, Spare Me. What he does is not a show. And I've talked about this on my show, Who Are These Podcasts, and other compound shows. Opie refuses to do a show because he lacks confidence and doesn't want people to go, oh, but compared to Joe Rogan, your show sucks. This way, he can just say, doesn't matter. It's my own thing. It's not a show. I'm just talking and chilling, rapping with the people, man. Opie is petrified of criticism. He's petrified of failing again. So he doesn't want to put something out that people would consider an entertainment program and then have to be judged against other ones. So he goes on his whatever it is and calls out other legitimate programs that have guests and topics and actual listeners and says how much better he is. Except he does nothing but take listener questions and then gets annoyed because the questions are all about the old O&A shows, Jimmy Norton, Sam Roberts, or E-Rock. He'll feign disgust in his baby voice. Aw, again? Really? Really? We're going to talk about this again? Doesn't this dummy know that it's solely up to him whether or not to take a question? Hey, Opie, maybe have a list of topics to pivot to, so if the questions you don't want to answer, you can do that. Have a conversation with the viewers about something you're interested in. But he won't do that because that would entail having an interest in anything. This is one of the observations Anthony has that is spot on. The man is completely devoid of passion about anything. In my opinion, it's almost sociopathic. I have never discussed anything with him that he seemed genuinely excited to talk about. I can sit there and talk about certain topics of the day, and I'm not necessarily super interested, but I make the best of it. Then there are topics I am very passionate about and enjoy talking about, and I enjoy enlightening people on those topics. I swear to Christ, in all the years I've known Opie, I've never seen this fucker excited to discuss anything. Everything he does is based on how people will perceive him. So he's never really passionate about anything. He just wants to put something out there like, oh, I went on vacation. I went to Turks and Caicos, played golf. It was great, man. But even when he talks about his vacation, it's just not passionate. Because more than enjoying his vacation himself and wanting to convey how awesome it was to loved ones or family or fans, he just wants to boost his image so other people can be like, wow, God, it must be so great to be him. That's been Opie forever. There's another part of him that will absolutely convince himself that things happened in a way they didn't. Aside from Opie, I've never seen this in real life. Only in movies about sociopaths, serial killers, things like that. But I've never seen another real person I've been involved with who could witness a situation and convey the story of it a few years later with a completely different description. He has no basis in reality anymore. And it's not even like he's lying. He believes it. This is his new interpretation of what happened. So, when he says stuff about, like, Patrice O'Neal said Anthony's a racist and a terrible guy, Opie actually believes that, and there's no convincing him different. It's almost like he might be mentally ill. It's different with Stuttering John. Stuttering John is stupid. Opie is also stupid, but he might be mentally ill too, in my opinion, of course. The day after I did the Howard Stern show, where I was doing a contest with Jackie Martling, Opie was convinced I was leaving to join Howard. Now, if you guys don't know about that, back when they were, I think, an afternoon show on Long Island, Anthony was a huge Howard Stern fan, started doing radio with Opie, and there's a video of it on YouTube. It's fantastic, where Anthony goes on and does his Jackie impression, and he's great on the Howard Stern show.
Right.
And Opie's very jealous of that. Like a little bitch, he said, "Oh, Howard's calling you, man. Howard's calling you, and that's it. You're going to go over there." He was convinced of it. And I couldn't tell him anything to the opposite effect. I'm like, "Opie, I'm not going anywhere. We have our own thing going." He said, "Oh, no, Howard will call you tomorrow. You were too good." Did he call you? He called you, right? I actually believe in Opie's head, he believes Howard called me. And to this day, he probably would say, "So Howard called Anthony and said he wanted him for the show. But then Anthony came up and did my show instead." He's done this for years. He comes up with these make-believe scenarios. He can't be happy with just getting maybe a few hundred viewers on his videos. The ones where he just talks about his doggy. "Hey, doggy. Look, everyone, it's my doggy. Whoa, look at that. It's a seagull. A seagull just flew over the beach. Isn't that insane?" So whenever he's doing anything that does not entail myself or Jimmy or Sam, no one watches. And he's aware of this. And the one thing Opie knows from being on the radio since he was 18 years old is that you go with what works. So if talking about us is what gets him views and the clicks, he's going to keep talking about us regardless of whether it's good, bad, or neutral. Doesn't matter if it's lies or real shit that happened. Believe me, there's plenty of real shit that occurred. If he wanted to do an O&A retrospective without bashing me, he could do that. There's plenty of material that's not about bashing me and Jimmy and Sam or anyone else. But he knows the bashing videos are the ones that get hits. On one of his live streams, he said, "The O&A show ran its course." No, it didn't. We could have been doing a version of the O&A show still. Now, we wouldn't be throwing shit on girls in 50-gallon drums. No, of course not. The environment has changed. But is there a way to discuss controversial topics and have funny guests on and be able to sit there and look at each other's miserable faces for 4 hours? Fuck yeah. The show did not run its course. Opie ran its course. He was the one who was all fucking pissy about what the show was developing into because it became more about Anthony and Jimmy than Opie and Anthony. So
That was well said.
spot on analysis. I recommend this book. There's a chapter on Stuttering John. There's a chapter on Bill Burr. That's really good. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And of course, if you want to see Anthony, you can see him at DabbleCon this weekend. He will be in town for DabbleCon. We're looking forward to that.
Yeah. My reaction to that takes me all the way back to when you first started covering Opie's actual podcast when Carl was still alive and they were going fishing. And Opie really seemed like into fishing. But that's something that's so singular. Like listening to somebody tell you about a fish they caught once is the ultimate you had to be there experience. So it's not interesting for his show. And that's the only thing that he's interested in, is something that no one else cares about.
That's a good point. You're right. Opie does talk about fishing, and he does like fishing. And I know that you like fishing too, so I'll try to say this nicely. It's the most fucking boring activity on the face of the planet.
Remember coming back from Brooklyn and it was on in the airport? You and I are looking at it like, how is this even a fucking
competitive
show?
fishing? Yeah, we're sitting there watching. I'm like, can we turn a channel that has real sports?
There's one guy standing there doing nothing and another guy standing there doing nothing, and we're supposed to fucking watch that?
And that's the competitive version of it.
And by the way, I don't like fishing. My old man was into fishing, and he used to torture me by dragging me along.
Oh, yeah. All right, so fishing sucks.
No,
We
it
can all
blows.
agree.
I hate it.
Very good.
Podcast, WA.